Okay, good afternoon, gents. Hope all is well. Let's see how we get on today. Okay, we had some news this morning. That's all done and dusted now. We've got nothing else for the rest of the day. So let's see how we get on. So I've got these two evaluations going. One of them's a trade away, another one's a few trades away. So let's see what happens today. So there is a possibility. I have been looking over the last sort of few weeks about bigger trends just to sort of see where we may end up. So there is the possibility. Well, it has sort of been working down, isn't it, the last few days? But that's just sort of, speculation really. But let's see how we get on. I'm looking at the daily as well. And the daily, we've come down and bounced off that line. So we've broken lower than that. So we may get a bounce here. It's hard to say, but we've had a couple of good strong pushes up, and we look like we're getting a bit of a correction. So it may come down a bit lower and then bounce, but that's what I'm expecting today. A likelihood of a bounce. So let's see how we get on. Okay, market opens in just under a minute, so let's see how we get on. So I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone had a good day yesterday. There was a few trades around yesterday, so it wasn't a bad day. It seemed to have improved since before Christmas. I did look at that one and I did drop a trade in, but I changed my mind and got out at break even. It looked to me like a leg down and two legs higher, sort of penguin style, but when it's broken below there, I didn't notice it had broken below there, so I got out of it for break even. It did work in the end, but we'll see. So let's see how we get on. So market is due open any second now. So let's see what happens. Let's see. We could get a higher low here and then a bounce. So we'll see. Okay, market's open. Let's see what happens here. So we've had a break at a new low. So I'm just going to get an order ready just in case. If we can get a second entry short here, trap some traders. I mean, in all fairness, it could come down a bit further. It's hard to say. There could be two legs up there, but we've had a break of this. Touch. We've had a break of this channel, so I won't be looking to go short just yet, but if we can trap some traders, that might be an option. Just keep it in mind, guys, the 80% off ends today. It's the shortest sale I think we've ever had, 4 days. So if you are interested in it, it does end today. So as you know, down there, my code's down there as usual, UKFT. But if you are after one, midnight tonight Eastern time. So I had a bit of a chat with Chris Childers throughout the Facebook groups, and it does seem like they're really cutting back on sales. I'm not quite sure why, but I was saying to him, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because the trouble is when they are so cheap, you treat them like cheap, and I do myself. I take silly risks. So I think if you pay a little bit more for your valuation, you do tend to value it a bit more. So I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing. Don't get me wrong, when they have the bigger sales, I tend to get more commissions, but it's not just about money, it's about getting sort of value and making, I'd rather sort of see people, make the counts last rather than below them. Okay, I thought we may get a bounce. I didn't think it'd be quite as strong as that. So, but anyway, if you are after one, it ends today, the 80% off. So. So let's just get rid of that in a minute. Let's put something a bit sharper in there. So I did think we'd get a bounce because on the daily we've just broken the level. As you can see there, we've just broken there and there. So I think it's feasible. We could go, I mean, whether we will or not, who knows? But I think it's quite possible, as we know, when we do this a few times, a little bit up, another bounce, and then some more upward stuff. We've got all-time highs here, see? I think. Yeah, all-time highs. So we've had a couple of big drops, so I think we're going to do some pushing higher today. So let's have a little look here. So we've got a channel up and a little break. No comments today. Everybody okay? I'm assuming people have got their head down. Are the comments working? There's 33 viewers. Unusual to not have any comments. Just somebody put something, tick or something, just to let me know everything's working okay. Ah, excellent. Exponential, how you doing, bud? Brilliant. Just so I know you're there. It tells me there's 32 watching, but usually there's a few comments, so just checking it's working fine. So excellent, no good. Okay, see if we can get a second entry here. I am looking at the NQ as well, and the NQ is starting to look bullish. So if we can get leg here, I'll take a trade there. I'm not sure whether we will, whether we'll just push up. We'll see. Greetings, kings and queens. How you doing, Kev? You have a good Christmas and New Year? You're in Miami, aren't you? I don't see how you can have a bad one, in all fairness. Okay, so I am just aware that there is possibly, hey Jay, how you doing? There is possibly a range here, but I think after this break and a new low, I am expecting it to push up a bit. So they're in paradise. Oh man, you make me sick.
Order submitted.
Depressed and sick at the same time. Okay, so this is a possibility. If this ends up bullish, I'll be taking this. That's if. There again is going to be some, what's that like? Actually, I don't think that's too bad. I'm going to chase that just a touch. Come back and get me. Come on.
Order submitted.
Okay, it's not a massive risk, so let's leave that there. I don't mind chasing it a little bit. I expect that to push up. It is a second entry long. I usually like getting out by these, but I do expect it to make another leg, so I am expecting it to push higher. There's going to be some shorts there, and if it does hit that, it'll probably hit my order anyway. So I'm quite, I'm okay with that one. It is a second entry long. It is bullish, although it's a little bit red. There's probably going to be some stops there, so if we can break that, I think we'll hit that target. Second entry long, may get higher low here. Oh, it does seem like it may be going a bit sideways here, but I think it's, I'm going to take that down one more tick. Just put it below here. So second entry long, if this is a higher low, that'll be okay. It does look a bit sideways here. We'll see. It is holding price, so we'll see. But like I say, there may be a bit of a range here. It's hard to say. I'm tempted. No, let's leave it there. I'm tempted to get out here. Let's leave it. Let's just leave it. If we can get above here, I think we're okay. No, I'm going to get out here.
Order filled.
It's going a bit sideways. It could drop. So I got out. What did I get out for a cup? 2.6 point? Is that a point? Yeah, it's going sideways. I'm not a massive fan of this. It could do either or here. Like I mentioned earlier, I am aware that there could be a bit of a range there, possible. If we break above that bar there, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, okay, that's... I think that would have hit my... Or wouldn't it? No, I've still got another tick to go. It's probably going to work. It does look like a bull flag, but sometimes it's better to get out and get a bit... everything's out, isn't it? Yeah, I must get into the habit of... You are rocking these days. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. It did work. It was a second entry long, and it did eventually work, but sometimes when it goes sideways, and I am aware that we've got a touch here, touch. There's 4 touches there, 5 touches, 6, 7. So you just don't know whether I'm looking at a range here. It does look like a bull flag push-up, and a lot of the times when you just leave these, they do work anyway, and it did work. But sometimes it's worth just getting out for a bit. At least you can guarantee a bit. So I got a couple of $100 on that one anyway. So it was worth a go. What did I get tick-wise? Oh, okay, yeah. It was points, basically. Was it a point? Yeah, point. I did chase that a little bit because I thought it was worth it. But point to point, I'm happy with that. I've got no issues with that. Second entry long. Sometimes, you know, I'm not proud. Sometimes it's easy just to grab a point in it. At least you can guarantee. When it goes sideways, you just never know. I am aware that it could be a bit of a range. I don't think it is. And if it is, I think it's probably a bigger one, which means I expect another leg. But yeah, you know, sometimes when you think, oh, let's just guarantee myself a couple of $100 rather than risk to get a little bit more. I got plenty of time. So second entry long, and that was a point, wasn't it? Plus points. So, I'm trading these on 4 contracts, but the one account down there is only about $106 away from passing, so there'd be no point in trading that on 4 contracts. It'd just be just silly risk that. Suppose second entry long here, so I'm just going to reduce that just to 2 points, I think, instead of 4. See what I mean? Where did I get in here? Sometimes it does hold. Because if there's enough traders in there, but I'm not sure here. I'd like to see it tick below there, because that would prove me right. Sideways, just get out. But it does seem to be holding. That's where it was. A lot of the times it will come back, and sometimes the strongest position holds, but I'm not 100% confident. But see what I mean about, you know, I have this sticker on my computer, taking a trade, look left, and I looked left and I thought there may be a range there, but you know, I think there was enough space. I was out before these tops anyway, and as you know, if the range sort of started here, you could say there was a range and we've had a bit of a breakout, which often we get the opposite end. So I thought it was worth the risk, but yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes it does hold. I often see that. If it's quite a strong position, sometimes it will hold, and I don't think it was a bad trade. I think a fair few traders would have taken that. And it was good for 2 points if you took it there. Oh, easily. That went up 3.5 points. So, you know, even if you'd have got out here, it's this plenty of, excuse me, plenty of space. But often if it does come back, it won't break that low. I tend to, you know, watch these, and I'm aware of them. But I got out for a point. Yeah, who knows? If that had come back, you know, sometimes you make these decisions. That's the trouble with scalping. It's fast-moving stuff. You've got to make quick decisions. You know, sometimes you tend to err on the side of safety and just get some money rather. You know, I think it's always better if you're not sure, just get some in and get out of it. If you lose, if you really lose Took that triple test for 6. That one, and that one. Yeah, I say that. Especially as it came back and didn't break the low there. And it is a second entry long, and it's a very small risk, isn't it? I think it's not a huge risk, is it? Couple of points. So look, tick above it, tick below. Yeah, 1.75 points. At the moment, that's probably about as small as you get. Now, I think if this ends up a higher low, I can see us making this other leg up. So let's do it from there and maybe there. So I can see us getting up to here somewhere. There is, you can see there's some support along there. I would say somewhere around about there. You can see it there, a little bit here. So that would take us up to about where the open is. Leg back, leg back. It's probably not a bad trade there, but I'd want to get out before this area here. So I'm going to sit tight with that one because it is working like it's a range. So normally it wouldn't be the sensible thing to go in there, but I think that would probably work, certainly to the open. But I'm not taking it because it's bounced up here and come down and it's hit more or less the same. So just out of principles, you know, you've got to have your rules, and at some point you've got to start, you know, as nice as it looks as a higher low, you've got to start sticking to the fact that you must be aware that, you know, we've been up here a couple of times before, but I would expect it to work. Certainly to the open anyway. But just because it's out of my rules a little bit, so that's the trouble, second entry short. But as much as I think it's sideways, if that does end up short and trigger, I would expect that to get stopped out. Just because it just looks that way to me. But I'm not taking it because I'm not that confident. But just out of, you know, experience looking at things and just seeing what's going on, I'd expect that to get stopped out, but I'm not confident enough to take the trade. So it's come down a bit, not enough, but I would expect that to go up now. So let's put that there. You'd have got 1.5 on it, off it. But I would expect that to push up now and take out that stop. There is a failure there, but because it's a range, it just does act. You know, I mean, I got my ideas what's going to happen, but obviously, just because it's going sideways, I can't take it. But I would expect that to continue up. You know, to make this, or certainly hit there anyway. But, you know, because it's sideways, there could be a lower high there. I think if it's a lower high, that would be a better trap. I think that would more likely get trapped and then turn. But you just never know. Which is why when it's like this, it's best to stay out, really. But yeah, that probably wasn't... I mean, initially that looked okay, and it did work. I think it went up 3.5 points, so it did its job. We had a channel up here. It was a second entry long, and there's a little bit of red there, but it's still come down here and rejected, so that's good for... And you can obviously see price. Every time we come back down, we're still being held by there, and we have that quick push-up, which comfortably makes your points. And yeah, second entry long, 1, 2, 3, triple test. It's neutral-ish, but it airs on the side of being bullish. But it's a small risk, so obviously, you know, you've got to take that into consideration. You could easily risk another point or 1.25 more than that. But because it's going sideways, it could just decide to come down. Who the hell knows? So let's just put that there now. I think that's probably a better option. There probably is a bigger range working there. So I'm just going to change. I'm $106 away, so I might as well only just trade a couple of contracts on here. So pre-allocated, so let's just put that for 2. No point in risking more than I need to. Obviously I like to get a little bit more than that, because obviously, you know, if you take a trade every day, I'd usually take a micro. I don't care whether it wins or loses. It loses $3 in a loss, so it's just, as long as we've got enough in there just to secure the rest of the remaining 4 days or 4 days, I think, whatever it is. So 57 is the lead, and 54. I was watching some of this video back yesterday, just a little bit, and listening to myself, and the last couple of trading days before I finished for Christmas, I sounded quite a bit different. I do sound a lot calmer. And I put that down to the break. Something I've never really taken breaks when I've been trading. I've taken a few days off. That's about it. And maybe a long weekend, but I get straight back to it. And half the time I'm looking at charts or watching what others are doing, but I had a complete break from the charts, and I really feel the benefits of it. And I can see it in myself, just how I sound. I sound a lot calmer. Now, obviously, I'm trading an evaluation, so you do a little bit, but I do sound just a little bit more refreshed, for want of a better word. So, okay, so there's a leg and a leg down. I actually don't mind that.
Order submitted.
But we could come down here. But I think that's worth taking. Let's have a look. Maybe not, maybe not. No.
Order cancelled.
Come down here. Let me just, it might work, but I think it may come down here. So I'm just going to pull that down a touch to about there. It is sort of like 2 legs, but we could come down and test this area again. If we get a higher low, it might be a better option.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
It is, you can see it's clearly 2 legs, and it is sitting on this. My only slight concern is it comes down and retests this, but that would have worked for, well, I'd have got it on top, so you'd have got, well, you've certainly got 6 ticks anyway. There's 6 ticks. It's probably going to hit 2 points, I think. That there's 2 points, so we're bouncing off that 2 points. So if it does tick above there, which I think it's likely, that's 2 points. But okay, I expect that to break above there now. There we go. So next place naturally is around about here somewhere, lightly up here. So that worked actually too. The more I look at that, the more I think it was okay. I just had this little concern that we may come down here, so we'll see. But if you took that one, worked well. Good on you. I generally don't pick tops and bottoms, but I think looking at that, I mean, it's easy when you know it works, but I think looking at it, it's probably about as good as you probably see, really. A couple of legs down, clearly 2 legs down, and it's clearly bouncing off here once, twice, 3 times. But a leg, I still expect us to get a leg up and hit this area here. There probably be some stops there, so I would say here that's what I'm looking at some point. Leg up, sideways, leg up. Certainly to the open. I need to start leaving my trades, and as Max says, stop monkeying around with them. It did start to go sideways, but what I should have noticed is, although it's going sideways, it's still being held by the EMA, which is still going up, so you'd probably expect to get up to this size, but you know what it's like sometimes, don't you? You get into these trades and it starts to go sideways and you lose a bit of confidence. I'd like to see that trigger and then push up. Okay, that short's triggered. I had a feeling we were going to start to work up to this area. Maybe that will push up a bit more. That's interesting. That's triggered, so there've probably been some traders taking that. It didn't really go down much, so I'd expect that to break above there now. How far did that go? Not enough, I don't think. You wouldn't have got a point out of that. It would have had to have pushed through, and that's right at the bottom. So that got taken out. So I would expect that level to get hit now. There is probably going to be a few stops there. I am still looking at this possible bounce here. We've come down once, twice, 3 times. Well, you might not call that, but even just a couple of legs. We've bounced this level and come back and retested. We broke below it a little bit, so there is a possibility of a bounce. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Interesting. Let's see what happens, see if this triggers. It hasn't triggered, but obviously a lot of traders might just buy that. Sorry, sell that rather. Hey Brick, how you doing, buddy? I've got the whole day as a range with a little fell breakout. Means we're low. Oh, the whole day. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there probably is. Probably is a big. If we get back up to here and react at this sort of area, I will draw something a bit bigger. In fact, put something in. Let's have a look. Yeah, that would make sense actually. there's enough touches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 touches there. Yeah, that makes sense. Leg up, leg up. We can push up to here somewhere. Yeah, I'll go with that. It looks all right, that. So let's see if this traps a few shorts or it comes down. Okay, I'd like to see a higher low here. If we can get a higher low, then I'd say don't come down. Something like that. If we can stop bounce and then get a higher low for another leg up, that would take us up to the same place. That would take us up to the same sort of area as the leg and the leg. Perhaps it's done in just 2 splits, this. So channel up, 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower, or 2nd entry long stroke failure. And up we go, let's see. Yeah. Excuse me a sec. Okay, excuse me just for 2 minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let's have a higher low leg. Higher low and then up. Sorry about that. I just legged it downstairs. I had something in the oven. Give us a high low. Come on. There'll be some stops here and here as well. Got to get a higher low. I think
Order
it's just going to
submitted.
go without something. Oh. Yeah, I thought as much. So I thought there, once we did this, come back down to pushes higher low and up we go. We hit that line, which I expected to, leg and a leg. It's going to take us up to here. If we can get 2 legs down. Retest the top of this. Let's have a look. So let's just ditch that for
Order cancelled.
Did what I expected to, push up, come down and then up again. But unfortunately, there was just no setup there really. So leg, that's where we wanted it to go to. Beautiful. So it's bounced off that first bit. I mean, either one of those is close enough. So we got a leg and a leg. It does look like a bit of a bull flag push up, sideways push up, and obviously a leg, 2 legs back and a leg, and hit exactly where we wanted it to. So those are both played out beautifully. So I don't think we need that there now. So yeah, definitely just looking like a range, a larger range. Shame about that. I thought if we can get maybe sort of drop a little bit sideways and drop below there, I'd have taken that. But oh well, such is life. So this is, oh, look, we channel there. This is that bounce, I think. I've been expecting. We've come down there yesterday, finished there yesterday, broken below it, and we look like we're having a bounce. How far we're going to come back, whether we'll come up a bit and then come back before we go up again, I don't know. But I can see some upward stuff for a while. So there is a possible channel there. Let's drag this down a touch. So we've got a touch here, touch here, touch here, fit in nice. Touch there, touch there, touch there, perfect touch there. So if we can get down here, this sort of area, I'll be looking to go along there. Obviously it depends how far this bounce goes, but so look, there is a possibility of a bigger channel there, so it'll be interesting to see how high that goes there. Just looking over the last few days, maybe call that a spiking channel. We've got a touch, a couple of touches there. So interesting to see what happens when we get to this area. So I'm just going to leave that on there as long as it doesn't create too much of a visual distraction. I don't think it does. So 1, 2, 3. Nice to get a drop now. There we go. So touch, 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 touch. Can push that a bit to there, say, so touch, touch, touch. Well, depending on where you put it to, it doesn't really matter. It's a bit irrelevant, really, but I like started the day and even before my PA to get some confidence. Naturally, as soon as I switch to PA, the setups dry up. Yeah, I mean, it may just seem like that. I mean, it could be. It could just be one of those days that sometimes it's just, you know, shit luck that it's happened. But there's definitely a difference. I mean, put it this way, I remember going back sort of, I don't know, maybe 18 months and trading evaluations, and I remember looking at, well, it was in a trade and feeling like my neck was in a vice. My neck felt that stiff just out of pure tension. It doesn't stress me at all. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being nothing, 10 being the worst, I'd say it's about a 1, maybe a 2, 2.5 when I'm trading an evaluation. Maybe even a bit less, maybe a 2 maximum. But you know, I was thinking about this earlier, and I trade like most, I trade the $50,000 accounts. Now, I put a question out a couple of weeks ago on one of a couple of the Facebook groups. How many contracts would you trade on a $50,000 account? And I had a mixture of 2, 1, and a lot of people said micros. They were saying it's just too much risk. So let's look at it like this. If you trade 2 contracts on a $50,000 PA, you'll get that to a safer level quicker. Okay, so that's one point. Yes, there's more risk, but you still have to lose 8 trades in a row to blow a PA account. I can't see you doing that. If you do, you're clearly not ready. So that's one aspect. And another aspect, if I put $2,500 of my own money into this, I wouldn't trade 2 contracts because I'm risking $2,500. But to get a PA account, it's cost me a $35 evaluation and a $140 PA fee. So I'm only really risking $175, not $2,500 as if it was my own money. So I think it's okay to risk a bit more when you're on a PA account. When I say risk a bit more, I mean in contracts, because you're only really risking $175 of your own money. And in all fairness, if you're an okay trader and you're trading this strategy, which is a high probability trade. Now, when I was trading on my PA accounts, I was averaging 87% on 87 to 89% win rate. Really, thinking about it realistically, you're not going to lose 8 trades in a row to blow that account. If you blow that account, 95, 98% of the time, it's going to be because you revenge traded as something's gone wrong. So in my opinion, it doesn't matter whether you trade 1 contract or 3 contracts. If something goes wrong and you're still going through that mentality of revenge trading because you can't take a loss, which I've struggled myself, as you know, I think it's really irrelevant to a degree how many contracts, you know what I mean? If you blow a 50 on 2 contracts, guaranteed it was due. Absolutely, absolutely. So I think, personally, from my point of view, it's better to trade 2 contracts, because if you're averaging $200 on a trade, you're going to hit that $2,600 a lot quicker. Now, I'm not saying that just because I'd say I want to take the money out straight away, but as soon as you hit that $2,600, you start then to create some distance between your drawdown, which then makes your risk percentage less and less. Because sometimes it just, when I've traded both 2 contracts, and 1 contract just seems to take forever. And you might say, well, you've got to be patient, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I absolutely agree. But if I was trading $2,000 of my own money, then yes, I wouldn't risk 2 contracts. I'd risk 1, because I'm actually starting with $2,500 of my money. Whereas on an evaluation, I'm not. I'm starting with $2,500 of someone else's money. My only risk is $175. So when you look at it like that, you've got to look at your risk. Now, if it was my own account, $2,500, I'm risking $2,500 trading 2 contracts. If it's a PA account, I'm not. I'm only risking $175. So I've got a lot less skin in the game to do damage to. So that way, I think it's okay to trade a little bit higher risk. Because as Jay said, 98% of the time, if you blow an account, maybe even more, if you blow a 50 grand account, it's because you've revenge traded. I can't see, if you've been trading 2 or 3 years, how you would possibly lose 8 trades in a row, enough to blow an account based on taking 2 contracts. I fail to see that. That's just my opinion. So what I'm basically saying is, I think it's better, in my opinion, to trade 2 contracts. Now, when you start to build money, that's a different story. But if you can build up to $5,000, that's the same as trading 1 contract with a $2,600 loss. You're trading with a $2,600 drawdown. You're trading 2 contracts and you've got $5,000. So you're risking about 5%, and you'll get to that $5,000 twice as quick if you're trading 2 contracts. That's my opinion. So I'm trying to look at it from, what am I personally risking? Because if you think constantly you're risking $2,000 of your own money, or $2,500, you're not. You're risking $2,500 of Apex's pretend money, if you like. So I think if you think about it that way, it may take some of the stress out, and thinking, okay, let's just think about it logically here. All I'm really risking is $175. You know, so it's just a bit of food for thought anyway. So this is interesting. We're coming up to this level now. So we've broken out of this sort of what looks like a daily range at the moment. So are we going to pull back in, or are we going to hit this level, or are we close enough to it? So I'm glad I left that there, because it does. You could probably even take that down a bit lower. In all fairness, if I zoom into there, I'm probably a few ticks away, so you could probably quite comfortably drop that to there. And it still kind of fits all right. You could push that a little bit higher. That fits there, so I think it's close enough. So I'd be interested to see now. I think there's 2 reasons this failed. One because we've broken the top of a range, and usually a breakout fails, and two, that there's a possible bigger channel there. But obviously, you know, you've got to make a decision. I would tend to maybe think about a lower high or something. And not only that, if you do like the look of this channel, and it looks okay, we've had an overshoot, and in a lot of cases, an overshoot will result in a reversal, and that's quite a strong push up. So I think there's 3 reasons that this would come down. Obviously, it's not, you know, it's not a good enough reason just to click sell. Obviously, you have to have the right setup, because it might not. But it's interesting just to see that we've hit this line, we've broken out the range. Most of the time we'd fail, and we've had an overshoot. In a lot of cases, we'd fail again. But then when you look at the daily, the bigger picture might be telling you we're going up quite a bit higher. So there's a few conflicting arguments to you know, take a trade here, but I'd like to see this come down. I think it's more likely it will, but we shall see. But yeah, it's just a bit of food for thought, really. You know, if you're struggling like I've been struggling, try not thinking about you risking $2,500. You're not really. You're only risking, you know, 175 your own money. That's as much as have you got of your money in the game. So that's what's brought me back to trading 2 contracts. I've got to say, it does go a bit quicker, and I know patience is key, but if you're the type of person that, you know, we've all got different levels of patience, and I think I've got enough patience. You know, I can sit here for 3 or 4 hours and not take a trade and feel pretty okay about it. But I do like to get that account into a safer area a little bit quicker, and that's just speaking personally. So we've had 2 pushes up here, and we've hit that line. In fact, I moved that a touch. We've had one below it a touch and one a bit above it. So I think that's quite a relevant level. So I think there's a chance of this coming down. So if we can get a lower high here, I may be interested in that. But I suppose this is a bit of technical analysis, isn't it, really? We've had a break of that channel, touch, and a new high. So if we can get a lower high, it might just come careering down, but if we can get a lower high, but a lot of the times when we do get these overshoot, we will come back down, pop back up, make a new high, and then do the reversal. But as we've already hit that line twice, for me, I think I still like trading. Absolutely, mate. It's a personal thing. I wouldn't tell anybody there that I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. There's just a way that suits you. It took me a long time to get my PA, so I'm more than happy to. Yeah, absolutely. I've got no issues with that brick at all. I think it's a sensible way of thinking about it. Absolutely. But, you know, we're all slightly different, so there's certain, you know, things that suit certain people, you know, but yeah, I'm all right with that, mate. I'm all right with that. Let me just have a little look at this. There's a possible lower high there. There may have been some longs in there, so...
Order submitted.
If that is an overshoot, which it looks like, and we've hit that level, so it'd be interesting to see what happens there. If this does come down and hit this, then there's a lower high. Yeah, let's leave that.
Order cancelled.
There is a bit sideways as well, so yeah. There's no one size fits all. Everyone's got their own ways, and you know they always say the best way is the way that works for you, and I absolutely agree with that. Okay, so
order submitted.
I kind of like that one to come down. It is a bit more risky. No, I don't like the way it's finished.
Order cancelled.
I think if it comes down there, you know what,
Order
let's just
filled.
sell that. I should have waited for it to tick below there, really, but I kind of like that. I might have jumped in a bit premature, but yeah, I thought it had broken lower, to be fair. But oh well. There'll probably be some long stops there. Okay, it has broken, so. Yeah, it's a bit more risky, this trade, for sure, but I like if we break below there and there, there's probably going to be some stops there. I do fancy this for a drop. There is a lower high there. Come on, keep coming. Don't stop there. Don't stop there, lad. Oh dear, there could be a second entry long there. Oh dear. Let's hope we get a failure here. Let's see if this triggers. We get a failure. Yeah, see, for me, there's three reasons that that's going to come down. One, this bigger channel. Two, breaking a new high. And three, overshoot. Come to daddy. Come on. And you come, brother. That was it there. So, going for just 2 points here. Come on. Come. Don't come back up. No. Come on down.
Order filled.
Excellent. Okay. I can see that coming down even more. So that one account now is passed. Which number is that? 54. So I can bin replicant, so I don't need that anymore. I can trade 57. Okay. Nice job. Thank you, mate. Axe would be proud. Oh, I love that guy. I was watching him again last night. I love that bloke. I do. I think he's brilliant. I love the bloke. I love watching it. I watch about 2 or 3 episodes every night. But I watched the one over Christmas. Was it Ben Kim, his name is? You're not closed out, am I not? Why is this doing this again?
Order filled.
Okay, so, yes, do you know what? This is happening all the time. Oh, bloody hell, I'm glad you said that, mate. I'm up a little bit more there. Is it just the one that was... It's just the one? Why has that happened? Do you know what? When I took that one here and got out, it did the same. Why is it? I'll have to look back. Yeah, it is flipping scary. Especially as it's done it twice now. I don't know why that's happening. That's weird. I'm going to have to look back on that again. I'm glad you spotted that, guys. You've just saved me there from skinning that account. Runner, maybe. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. That happened yesterday, and it happened twice today. And the only thing different I've been doing is having a runner. It's funny you should say that, Jay, actually. That's the only thing I've changed is added a runner. That's weird, isn't it? That's weird. Who saved my arse there? Who was it? You're still in, Kev. Thank you, Kev. I appreciate that, bud. Wonder if it's a runner. Well, to be honest with you, the only thing I've changed in yesterday and today since I started this is added a runner. Sod that. Let's get rid of a runner. Let's just stick it at 4 contracts. I ain't messing around. That's weird. Now, I've got to get into the habit of looking. So above my head now, I've got that at the bottom of the screen above my head and that. That tells me exactly I can see any movement and that. When you mentioned that, I looked up. I've got to get into the habit of looking up. But thanks, Kev, and anybody else who managed to get a word in there. But, you know, it's one thing happening on an evaluation, but happening on a PA can be mind-crippling, can't it? Because if you don't notice it. But yeah, I wonder if it is because of the run. I'm going to have to get myself into that. I don't mind if there are issues, as long as I'm aware of them and I know what to do should they happen. But it's weird that this has just happened. It happened. The trade I took earlier, that one I took out, I got out for break even. And I noticed it was still moving. So although I got out of break even, one of the accounts, and it was the one that was due to pass, was down $75. And I just clicked the little, because there's a little cross here. This highlights when the trades are running. And I just click the cross and it just gives you a little prompt box, and just click OK and it just shuts it out. So it's uncanny that it's happened just as I started adding a runner. I might put a post on later and see if anybody notices that, any other issues. But just, you know, we're all striving to get multiple accounts, but sometimes trading multiple accounts sometimes seems more hassle than they're worth. Obviously not, but it's blooming scary, isn't it? I got to say. It's real scary. Knowing stuff like that can go wrong. And in fact, I'm going to message, I don't think Wilson use runners, but I'm going to message Wilson later. I don't know. Well, I don't know if he's aware of it. He probably might be, but it doesn't hurt just to let him know I've had a few issues, just to make sure. Because I've never had this open. I always thought any orders would be in that box. And the trade I took day before yesterday, obviously here I didn't see at the time because I never had this up, but I just keep an eye on that box. And what you'll usually see me doing out of habit is when a trade's finished, I right-click and cancel just out of pure paranoia. But I didn't realise a trade may not show there, but is still triggered in Rhythmic. I don't know what's changed and what's caused this. The only thing I've changed is by adding a runner, but I've never heard that before. You know, I've never heard more people having issues, you know, with just because of a runner. Weird. Bloody scary. But I'm going to put a post on the Facebook. I always like, if I ever have these problems, I always like to have a chat with them. It just puts other people in the picture, and it's just nice to see what other people's experiences are. So I can still see this coming down. This just to me looks like just a bit of a pullback. So we got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. I'm still thinking short because of one, the overshoot, two, the failed breakout of the and three, possibility of a bigger channel there, and it really is. It does look like that. I know Mac doesn't use this, but I know I got a message from Penguin, the Penguin guy, and he's starting to look at the bigger picture. So it's interesting that. Now it does look like two legs up, but I'm going to wait for a lower high here because I think we could get a second leg down. So let's just put that like that. And we might not, which is why I'm waiting for a lower high. So that one went for how much? I think it was just 2 points, wasn't it? Yeah, 2 points. Yeah, it's so weird that is. I'm going to have to look back on that. Kev, did you know? How did you know it was still running? Did you see something there? Or did you look at the balance? Because I never noticed. I need to get into the habit of as soon as a trade finishes, I need to look up. You looked at the balance, yeah, so there was nothing there. Same as yesterday. I always thought if a trade was running on an intraday, it would be showing here either in the positions or the orders. But that's weird. Okay, so we got leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure, quick drop. Second entry short, bar too big. I can see this coming down for another leg, but it's a big ass bar, that, isn't it? If it triggers and pulls back a little bit, then maybe take it on there. But we got a leg down, second entry short, or leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure. But yeah, it's a big bar, isn't it? Lower high might be just as good. Let's have a look on the. I always like to look at the NQ to see what that's doing as well. And this looks like we may be pushing higher. There's two legs down and a higher low there. Now it'd be interesting to see what happens there, because if that comes down and takes out that stop, this is coming down, I'd say so. It looks like a push-up, but with a break, leg and a leg. There is a higher low that's triggered, so ordinarily at first glance, it looks like a spike and channel with a break and a new high. So I would say to me that would keep me out of a short trade. It never triggered anyway, but there's possible lower high here. This may come down and take that out. Let's just get an order ready.
Submitted.
No.
Order cancelled.
The fact that that is a nice leg up with a nice looking higher low after that spike and channel there on the NQ. There's a spike and channel with a break. It looks like two legs down and a higher low. So for me, I think that's going to go up, which would cause that to go up as well. So sometimes it's good to have this. It might not. I mean, it could come down and take that out. And if it does, this is coming down. But I think that looks quite like a strong trade, in all fairness. Yeah, it is. Look at it. Look at it going now. See. So, to me last year when my PAs was blown, what happens is the trade copier triggers a reverse after hitting the target. This occurred version of it. So it triggers a reverse on the runner. Did you say or not? Do you mean? They never reinstated my account. No, they don't. If something happens to a lot of people, they'll do something about it. Took the NQ1 at feet, yeah. It did look like it's going up there, didn't it? We got 2 legs down after this break. No runner. Strange. I don't know why it's happening then. That's happened to me 3 times now. One there, one yesterday, and the one I got out of here never triggered. All of a sudden it started happening. I got no idea why. But it's scary. I don't know why all of a sudden it's starting to do that. It's bloody scary. If you've got a lot of, you know, potential money on the line here, see? I mean, you imagine something happening to Wilson. He's got 20 accounts. That's scary. I'm going to put a post out, I am. I had issues with Apex trade cut before using limit orders, but never with stock market orders. The strange thing is, I use Replicanto. I had problems with I had it the other way around. I have not had an issue at all with Replicanto since I started using limit orders. And the thing I like about limit orders is if I'm waiting to drop a trade in, and sometimes when the bar closes and I drop the trade, price hits it straight away and kicks it out, which it did yesterday. It triggered one of the evals, but not the other. Whereas if you drop a limit order there, it'll just sit wherever you drop it until price hits it, and then it'll trigger. So I think, personally, I prefer to do that. But I've used limit orders now on that one and this one. And yesterday I used a market order, sorry, but the one I got out of here and that one, I use limit orders on. So I don't know all of a sudden why this has happened to me 3 times in 2 days, but it's blimmin' scary. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to get on top of this. I'm gonna have to make sure I take precautions and keep looking at it. But even so, you still don't want it happening, because it's only got to be 3 ticks and you've lost $75. And if that happens on a bunch of PA accounts, it's going to piss you off, isn't it? Okay, possible failure there that's triggered. Yeah, I still don't want to go long here because it's come up and bounced that line multiple times. So personally, I don't want to go long. It may push up, break that high, and then turn down, which only takes this up to about here, so I don't really want to go long there. Although it is a failure, but I don't really want to go long into a potential bigger channel there, so let's just chuck that out of the way. So I don't know why this is happening. But what I will say is yesterday I downloaded an update version of Replicanto. So I wondered whether that was an issue. And today we had another update of Replicanto as well. So I did wonder whether they may have found an issue. So I downloaded the new one today. So that's 2 updates in 2 days. And I've had the same problem. So I don't know what's causing it. Whether it is Replicanto or what, I don't know, but it's flipping scary. First version, not the new one. Yeah. It's blimmin' scary. But it's just sort of thing you don't want to happen, really. Be interesting to see if it's happened to anybody else today. That's why I like putting posts if I have issues, because you get some feedback which may help you out. But cheers, Kev. You saved my neck there, mate. When it happened yesterday, the account was started at about $800, went to about $1,200 before it reversed, and then blown. But at the end of the day, we need to know what's causing this. I'll put a post on later, see if we can figure out what's gone on. But so that's 2 points anyway. So lower high, overshoot, touch off this. I like that. lower high. Oh, we don't want that. Overshoot, possible reversal. Yeah, it might be, mate. See, at the end of the day, I did bring that down a bit, in all fairness. I could probably put it back where it was. Touch once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. A little bit of a breakout there, but that was after the open, I think, before it careered down. Same again there, close enough there. Could almost take that down, just a micro. Maybe a quick spike down that was, so call that a spiking channel. So it is fitting within that area, so I think it's a good enough reason. So I see this a lot. Sometimes it sucks longs in because you think channel, break, new high, and all of a sudden it drops quick. So I would expect this to drop quickly. NQ, bigger picture, looks the same. Yeah. Is it really? Yeah. Now, Mac never talks about this, but if you think about it, look at it. At the end of the day, we've just got a smaller time frame. If you add a bigger time frame, it would look just the same. But it clearly sort of works, doesn't it? You can't ignore that. And I think even better when it comes to the top. You can't use it as gospel, but I think it's fair to say, maybe I shouldn't take a long here. So, we've got this channel up here as well. Depends how you've drawn this. You could sort of maybe do that as a spiking channel. So, that actually looks all right, to be fair. So, your break here, you might be looking to go long, but you can see how it's reacting there, and I don't think going long is the best thing. I'm not saying you're not going to, but sometimes it'll do this. People will be going, our channel, we've got to go long, and all of a sudden it will giving you a couple of little options, and it'll trap a few longs. I don't know whether the algorithms works like that. I got no idea, but just out of experience, a lot of times when I've been focused on going long because I can't, it's almost like I got blinkers on, and then all of a sudden it'll tank. It's also a good time for a break in the big picture channel. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can't take this as gospel, but you can't deny it also, can you? Because we've hit this area more or less 3 times. So you just have to be aware that going along there, you might take a bit of caution. It could smash straight through it. Who knows? Channels are there to be broken, aren't they? They're going to break at some point. But I just think really, for me personally, I just want to exercise a bit of caution. One, because of the overshoot. And we know a lot of the times when you get an overshoot, it'll reverse. Sometimes it doesn't always reverse straight away. It'll come around and try and break a new high before it tanks. So I'm just trying to think, is there going to be some longs in here? There may be some. Maybe some there, I don't know. That hasn't triggered anyway. That hasn't triggered, so... but you know, whether this is accurate or not, who knows? But just from my point of view, it's just making me be a bit cautious about going along. So let's see what happens here. It could just rocket straight through, who knows? But see, the smaller picture on the 1500 tick chart on the NQ is looking like we could push and break this high. But I've tried to get into trades like this before and thinking, go on, push, and all of a sudden, wham, it drops like a flipping stone. So, you know, whether this bigger channel means anything or not, it's irrelevant, really. Well, to a degree. It's just telling me, just exercise some caution in going along here, because it's quite a nice looking bar to go along there, you're thinking, aren't you? But look what's forming now. So... tickle that a little bit. Touch, close enough, touch. There's going to be some longs in there, no doubt. It looks like it's working up. And if people like me are looking at the NQ, that's also, we've got a spike in the channel, couple of legs down, push up. You'd expect that to sort of break the highs, and it may well. But it's just telling me, just exercise a bit of caution. My wife's joining from work soon, so I'm going to take a 5-minute break in the next 10 minutes, I think. But I've got stuck in so many scenarios like this. It's almost going, come on, fella, jump in. There we go. There's one for you. Get in. Go on. You're going to miss it. And all of a sudden, wham. But as well, there is that bounce on the daily, so we don't know how far this is going to go up. So it could just, this might be the time it breaks this bigger channel. So it's hard to know what to do here, but for me, it's just proceed with caution. Let's see if this does tank. It does look like it's trying to go higher, which makes me even more nervous about going long. It does this sometimes. It looks like it's a slow grind, and I think people think, oh, I don't want to miss this big move, which may well happen, but I think we've actually broken that high on the NQ, haven't we? Or have we just matched it? No, I still think we're a tick below it, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Where are we? Yeah. Thanks for that, Kev. I appreciate that, mate. You saved me there. You saved me blowing another bloody account. I appreciate that, mate. I'm just glad all these problems are coming out on evaluations and not PAs. In all fairness, I don't think there's any really nice looking trades in there. I don't know, would you take in that one? It's not safe to trade any of that really because it is congestion. So I think we can get rid of that now. Trouble is, you could adjust it from now. It's not worth it now, isn't it? But I just think it's important just to sort of be aware that this may be coming to an area which may be hitting a bigger channel. So we've made a new high, whichever way you look at it. In fact, you could probably get rid of that mirror look. Yeah, it's probably just sideways a channel from here, break new high. That just does look more like a spiking channel. So in all fairness, I can't see anything there that's a good trade to go long, really. Not much left to these highs. So are we going to continue higher? There's a possibility. Because we got this, you know, sort of, we're starting to bounce off here, aren't we? So how high is that going to go? Up here? Or back down? Who knows? But there's a failure there. There's probably going to be some shorts. Well, I say there's bound to be some shorts there, but I don't really want to go long at the moment. Is there something bigger there? Possibly. Yeah, actually, that might be an option. There is a failure there, but there's a doji there, so nothing I can really do there. So we've got a touch, a touch, a touch. 3 nice touches there, and the top doesn't look that bad either. So if we can get 2 legs down, retest this, that might not be a bad option. Yeah, I was thinking about that possible bigger channel, but I'm not sure about that. But what I am looking at is the daily. And we've dropped quickly, and this looks like a bounce. So we'll see if we can get a second entry long here. Trigger that, that'd be nice.
Order submitted.
This looks like it may come tumbling down.
Order cancelled.
Interesting.
Order submitted.
I think I've got to go for this. Maybe not.
Order cancelled.
Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll just be 2 minutes. Okay. Let's have a look. There's a failed second entry long. Interesting.
Order submitted.
Let's see how this looks.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
I'll make its mind up this. It's getting a bit congested here now, so I might just
Order cancelled.
Let's have a look. Oh, maybe not. Let's have a look.
Order submitted.
It is bouncing off the top of this, so I don't think. Let's see how it finishes. No, it's looking a bit congested.
Order cancelled.
Stop doing that.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay, excuse me, just for a second. Yeah. What's it going to do?
Subfilled.
Okay. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, yeah, it's a bit congested there. I probably should have left that one, was it? Which one did I take? That was the higher low there, wasn't it? Just made two legs up. Have a look. It was that one, wasn't it? Yeah, it just looked to me like there's a bigger channel going on there. And I was looking at the NQ as well. Leg up, sort of two legs back. Well, it looks bullish to me, that does. Uh, 57, isn't it? So what do we lose there? Let's have a look. 4, 5, 6, 7, 2.75 points. Minus 2.75. There we go.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay, I'm buying this because it looks really bullish on the NQ. There's a second entry long right off the key entry point on the NQ. Now, I wouldn't normally do this on a PA account, but I do think we're going to have a strong push up. It's looking really bullish on the NQ. So we'll see. And there's going to be some short stops there, no doubt about it. There's going to be some there, some there, some there, and probably some there as well. So I think that's a good move, personally. Come on, push, 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 push. How is it? Just thinking there's going to be some stops there, isn't there? Let's have a look. Okay, there's a short just triggered on the NQ, which looks like it's going to push up, hopefully. Let me just bring this in, the NQ in. We'll see. This looks bullish to me. Touch, touch, touch. There's a short triggered there, which I think is good. If we push above that short, that'll take this up as well. It does look like a leg with a couple of leg corrections, a push up, a higher low. I like the way that short's triggered, and it looks like it may push up. Let's have a look. I'm just looking at the daily as well about having this big bounce. What's this account? 6. Let's see what happens anyway. Just dragged it out of the way, but that looks like it's going to push up and hit that. So I'll see. I don't mind being a bit more aggressive on evaluations. I keep looking at this bounce here. We'll see. Come on, break through that short top. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Bit higher, bit higher, bit higher. Okay. Come on. Not sure what this is going to do now. I'm going to get out of this.
Filled.
Okay. What did I get out for? Not a lot. It's going a bit sideways there. What did I get there? A quarter of a point. I'm not going to bother marking that. Yeah, I was looking at this on this the NQ. We had the that short which triggered and pushed up. I expected that to go. We got a leg up, sort of 2 legs of correction, and does look like there's going to be 2 legs there, doesn't it? It's probably going to go, but it's just taking a bit of time. Leg, which would take us up to here somewhere. That's if it does go, but it does look like a leg. And we're up towards these tops, so it does look like it's going to push up that to me. All the signs are there. Second entry long, higher low there. Triggered this. It's just a bit wicky, isn't it? So I'm just going to sit tight on this. Just touched it. Right, I got you. Fair enough. In all honesty, anyway, it is just congested, isn't it? So it's probably not the wisest thing. It did something like this yesterday, didn't it? And then just dropped. There is a failure on the NQ. 2 legs down, higher low, second entry short, which is triggered. So if it pushes above there,
Order submitted.
this is more aggressive, I agree.
Order filled.
Okay, let's just shove the NQ up out of the way. Okay, you could call that a failure then. Trigono once, Trigono twice. I like the way it trapped some shorts. There was a second entry short there. Stroke lower high. If we can get above here as well, hopefully we should get a bit of a push. Let's not be too greedy here.
Target filled.
Okay, quick $500 there. It did look like it was itching to go. It looked good and positive on the NQ. We had this leg up, couple of legs back, push up, 2 legs back, second entry long, higher low, failure, trapping some shorts. The signals for me were to go long there. Cheers, Kev. It's a bit risky. I mean, I wouldn't normally risk that like that on a PA. I wouldn't. But it looked good on the NQ. It was trying to go low once, trying to go tight. It was a failure there. So I think it was worth a risk. As I say, I think we all tend to a little bit more risky on the cheers, thanks, Kev. I think we're all a little, well, yeah, risky for sure. But you know, on a $35 evaluation, I don't mind getting a bit more risky. It doesn't necessarily go against me a lot, whether I get away with it or whether I know enough just to be a bit cheeky sometimes. There you go. But so it eventually went. It looked like it was itching too, to be honest with you. So that one there, and that was point wise. Let's have a look. 58. No. 2.5 points. That was more than 2.5 points, wasn't it? Or was it? That all it was. 2.5 points. 1.5, 2.5. Okay, 2.5 points. I thought it was a bit more than that. So, failed second entry short. Failed second entry short. Plus 2.75. I'm blank again. 2.5. Okay, so it looks to me like we're going to have this second leg now, and this bounce off the... I've been out keep my eye on this all day, and we had those 2 pushes back. I think it was inevitable. Well, I think that the likelihood of having a bounce off there would be pretty good. Now, even a bounce halfway the width, you know, the length of half of this is still substantial enough, isn't it? Even from the bottom there, we've gone up to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28, 27 points, something like that. Now, don't get me wrong, this is riskier trading. It's a lot of assumptions as well, but I seem to be all right with it and get over it all right. I seem to get it all right when I evaluations, but it is a bit too risky for a PA. It's, you know, it's a little bit nervy, but I thought it was likely if we had a couple of legs back that we were going to push up. The NQ, I got in, I think the NQ was looking really bullish as well, and we got a failure there. There's going to be some stops there. There, something like that anyway. So once we got above that, then it pretty much had a reasonable push. You probably feel like you should have held longer. Yeah, the trouble is, what I was seeing there, I got out about here, it was holding on the midline. So you don't know whether it's going to come back and retest this. So it never really bothers me so much, that. Because in all honesty, you never quite know how far it's going to go. You don't know whether it's just going to break the highs and come back. Now, I had my suspicions it was going to make a couple of legs. The NQ looks a little bit clearer. A leg up there, a couple of legs back, or 2 legs. You can see them there, can't you? 1 leg, a little bit of sideways and another leg, and a bullish bar, a higher low. So every one of those stops there. The 2 leg, well, it's not technically a second entry long, but you can clearly see it's a 1 leg around with a little bit of sideways, another leg down. It was a bullish bar. If you'd have taken that, you stop at a held. If you'd have taken the higher low, you stop at a held. And there was a second entry long there, albeit congested. There was 2 legs back, another second entry long, confirming this, a higher low followed by a failure. So there was signal after signal. And then it broke down there, pushed up, gave another bearish bar, sucked in some shorts, and then off it went. But I could see it was reacting off that midline. So if you look where I got out, it was around about that area. Acted on this midline. So I got out right there, right at this midline. So you don't know whether it's going to come back. You never quite know where it's going to go. You know, obviously we got the top, so that's a possibility, but you just don't know whether it's going to start working within this bottom tier, in which case it may come round, and you just want to get out because that is a little bit further off this channel than that is. I thought that stop would have been safer, but you just never know, do you? So it doesn't bother me about, you know, bigger moves. I didn't check whether my account was still locked in or not. I got to get into that habit of doing it. Don't even know whether to try and incorporate this into here somewhere, but obviously quite a bit smaller. So that shows what's been filled, doesn't it? That shows, might be an idea to get that in there somewhere. Oh, bollocks. Where are you? There. It was on top. Probably not a bad idea, that, actually. Hide banner. So all I've got to do is hit that cross there. It's not a bad idea, actually, to have that there. It's a shame, really, you can't get this bloody thing to flash on and off somehow. At least that way you guys can see it as well. So what I don't want to see is anything. I didn't realise how much this would play a part, and it clearly bloody does today, that's for certain. So what are we up today so far? 1 point, 2 points. Hey, I won that trade. Why would I put that as a minus? Okay, so 3 points, 4, 5.5, 4.5, 3.5, 2.75 points up. Is that about right? Yeah. That basically cancels that out, yeah, 2.75 points. So yeah, I'm going to keep that there for now, I think. At least that way I've got the positions here and here. I just need to get into the habit of looking. So, whether you draw that from there or there, probably draw it from there, I think. Maybe. To be fair, on the NQ, it's actually played out that measured move as. Yeah. If you look on the NQ, that's played out perfectly. 1 leg up, 2 legs back. There was a bunch of signals to go along there, and that's played out right to the nearest tick. So what I will say is what I've realised, it is really useful having the NQ on here, because that can give you signals as well. Because if things look bullish on here and here, it can help you make a better decision, and vice versa as well. So I don't mind. I think it plays a part, and obviously you can learn to, you know, I haven't really traded it much, but maybe just trade it on a sim or something, just to get used to the point system that just throw me a little bit. Another thing I thought about the other day as well is I don't know how I can trade those at the same time if I'm trading multiple accounts, because on my Replicanto it says what the lead account is, and the lead account is this particular account here, and the rest follow. So how does that work? I can't trade the same on the NQ because the lead account is saying ES. So would you have 2 copies of Replicanto open? 1 running each? I don't know about that. Whether I'm just giving myself a headache. You change the instrument on. Trouble is, you could only either trade one or the other, couldn't you? You can't trade them both. See, if I open Replicanto now, excuse me. I accidentally bought a trade of 80 val and passed it. How the hell did you pass it? When it goes live in a couple of days, I will trade NQ on trade of it. Oh, got you. I see. Yeah. I thought you meant you do it by accident. See, at the moment, this is showing my ES. So if I trade my lead account to sim, to a 54 instrument. Now I can trade the instrument, can't I? But the trouble is, I can only trade one of these at the same time. One of them, either the ES or the NQ. I can't trade them individually at the same time, can I? So I can't all of a sudden jump in and drop a trade in above me. You cannot trade ESs at the same time. No, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Because I just wondered. I thought, I'm sure I've seen heard people trading both. What you would have to do is either trade one or the other, really. So yeah, I feel like I've learnt more in the last couple of days than I have in the last 6 months, especially with these things going wrong. So what I need to do is make this a little bit bigger. Header, change display, font. This is a frigging ball ache. That you can only copy from mini. Yeah, I think you're right. Try open another tab. I suppose I'm not going at the moment anyway. But I mean, I suppose because you're not open to. I should get rid of this bottom bit and just keep this. Can you not open two copies of Replicanto? Pain in the arse. No. Why? I want to get rid of all that. Add or remove. You can open two copies and two. Ah, interesting. Interesting. Glad you told me that. Change display font. Let's put that back to where it was. Why do I mess with things? Okay. So all I need really is that, really, isn't it? I wish I could get rid of this, some of this height. It's a flipping pain. Right, so all I need to do is click either one of those. Let's give it a little bit more. Oh, sod off. Yeah, so okay, so what I need to do is when a trade finishes is first and foremost check that and that. God, you'd think there'd be an easy way of doing it. What you want really is when a trade gets triggered, it just flattens everything. Even if it misses it the first time, they should have something that does it multiple times. Flatten, 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 or something. So 1, 2, 3, 4 trades today. So the one's passed. So I just need to do a micro for the next few days, and the other one's about $660. So that's a couple of trades, hopefully. So what time is it now? So what I will say is the NQ is looking like we're going to get a pullback or a break, because those measured legs played out perfectly and we've gone up a couple of times. So I think we're going to likely to come down here now, which almost, to be fair, looks more or less identical, doesn't it, that section? So I'd expect that to come down at least to the MA, possibly a little bit lower. But yeah, they're pretty close, aren't they? But twice it's pushed up now, so I can't believe it's happened twice, 3 times to me in 2 days. And I've never had an issue with not getting out of trades. I can't see what's changed, really, apart from having a runner. It'd be interesting to see if anybody else has had same problems. Maybe it's something to do with, I don't know, Rhythmic or the update from Replicanto. I don't know. Who knows? There was two, yeah. We had one yesterday and one today. So when we had the one today, it did cross my mind, was there an issue with the other one? Yeah, there's the one today, 12:30 UK time. But there was one yesterday as well. Yeah, we've had two in 2 days for some reason. I think, pretty sure. Yeah. Okay, so I thought as much, at least to the EMA, probably back down here. It looks like it might be reversing on the NQ. In fact, I'd say that's probably right. This really just looks like a big range on the NQ. So we've had a couple of legs up. We've hit that measured mood. And this looks to me like it's going to come down now. So I'd probably expect the same on here. So perhaps there is really just a bigger channel, bigger range there. I think that's likely. But obviously until we break this, there's nothing we can do, because you never know that it may still break on the NQ and make a new high. We could still push up and make a new high. I'm not sure whether we do. We did something yesterday. Sometimes when we have like almost like a top input, we had the same bottoming pattern and it never came back. So sometimes when we get this and we have a break, it doesn't always go back. I don't know if you've guys noticed that, but I have. So we've had a leg and a leg. We've come back again and broken. So this may just start to come down now. It does look like just a range, really. Yeah, it does. So whether we'll come back and retest something here or a couple of legs up and then down again, who the hell knows? I'm going to have to keep an eye on this, though, because after today, the price goes back up, I'm assuming, to 50% off, but I don't want to be paying $75 flipping dollars or $85 or whatever it is. This is the shortest discount we've had, just 4 days, and not the biggest either. So I know there's been a few people talking about it on Facebook that Daryl Martin's mentioned. I haven't seen it personally where he's mentioned it, but I think it was Paul Morgan who mentioned that. He said we won't be getting as many as the big discounts. I don't know why, really, because I think they make probably more money. I thought they do anyway. I certainly still think they do. But in a strange way, I don't think it's a bad thing, because if you're getting them 95% or 90% off all the time, you're going to be just gambling them. And I'm talking for a personal thing, is because that's what I tend to do. I take stupid risks. So I don't know whether you end up being worse off because you blow a lot more. You know, they're cheaper, but you blow a lot more, hence, you know. So I personally think it can kick you off into that gambling mentality a little bit. I think sometimes we need to value our evaluations a little bit more. You know, if they're so cheap, it's just so easy if something goes wrong to think, oh, sorry, I'll take a risk. If it worst comes to worst, I'll reset it. It's $15. And it's probably, it sounds good in all, you know, it sounds good at the time, but I think it does set you, it gets you into that, you know, sort of spray and pray sort of mentality, and I don't know whether it does us any favours. You ever updated your Replicanto? You must close Replicanto window and reopen the new version. Yeah, I did, mate. I had this all shut down, and you just save the dill file, don't you? Drop it into the file. I saved the dill file, I've dropped it into the file. So, but yeah, I just go into your files. If anybody doesn't know how to do it, let's have a look. Oh, flip. Yeah, if anybody doesn't know how to do it, you literally just go into your documents, double-click NinjaTrader, double-click bin, double-click custom, and just drop it in. It'll be a dill file. Literally, just drag it when you download it, drop it in here, and it'll say, do you want to overwrite it, write it, and it just replaces one of these dill files. And then when you open up Replicanto, just check it's the new number. I think it's 1500, whatever it is. Let's have a look. The new one is, yeah, just check it says that. The new one, 1.5.1.2, which is the new one. These, I think, were different. I can't remember from the last one. I'm going to start taking pictures of the previous ones and see how they differ. Okay, so the NQ does look like it may be pushing up for a new high. Trouble is, we've come off these highs, so I'm not massively comfortable with going long, because it may just have a couple of pushes and then come down. So I'm aware that this is very likely a range, and we've come off the top of it twice. So are we going to push up and make a new high? Possibly. But I'm not that confident that I want to be thinking about going long, and I wouldn't do it on this chart. And if I don't do it on this, I'm not doing it on here. So let's just put that above me in a minute. It might work, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, because well, because nothing really. It's just you get a feeling, don't you? Okay, so it did push up. We got a leg back. Took the second entry long, and like how doubled up, did you? On an evaluation? Yeah, don't double up on your PA, will you? If I see a really good trade, yeah, I've got no issues with taking a little bit more of a risk. Well, increasing my amount a little bit if I think it's a good enough trade. At the moment, I'm trading 4 contracts. Normally on a PA, I'd trade 2, but what I will say is, like I say, you've got to lose, or trading 2 contracts, you've got to lose 8 trades in a row to blow the account. So trading 4 contracts, it goes to say you've got to lose 4 in a row. I don't generally lose 4 in a row, and for all intents and purposes, I don't find trading evaluations stressful in the slightest, so I've got no problem with revenge trading an evaluation. But, each to their own. My candles look a little different from yours. That was better, was it? I did reload my historic, so perhaps have you reloaded yours? So this is interesting. There's a second entry short here. We've got a channel down and a second entry short. Looking on the NQ, this to me looks like it may trap some longs. I don't know. That short's triggered. We'll soon find out now if it breaks above there. But we've had a channel down with a break. Yeah, I thought as much. So if we can get another push up now, then I can see some more downward stuff. Because the NQ is looking like we may get another leg down. Let's see what happens. I'd like to see this break above this, because this is a fell second entry short. If that triggers and comes down below there, we're coming down, I think. And the NQ does look like we may be coming down because we've hit the top of the range. Leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. If we can trigger above this and then come down, I think we're coming down because we've hit the top of this range. I think it's a range anyway. I can't see any other reason. So let's see what happens. Leg, maybe a higher low. But I don't want to go long here, so I'd like to see this finish bullish and trigger. Let's just get rid of this. Don't need that. Won't let me. I want to see that push up a bit really before it comes down. So we got a leg down, a channel, we got a break, one attempt to go higher. So we're still working up here. It's so far so good, but I just have a feeling we're going to have a break here. Leg and a leg because we've hit a double top there. So I think we're going to have a leg and a leg, and it's on the NQ. It's looking possibly the same. Excuse me, just for a minute. So leg down, one attempt to go higher. See if we can get another attempt to go higher here, and then that drop. Does look like, see, we have broken the channel, but I think what's more important is we've bounced off what looks like the top of a range, in which case we've just made one attempt to go. If you get a second attempt to go higher, then I think we're coming down. You know, the fact that this looks like a channel doesn't necessarily mean we're going to make a new high if we're in a range, because obviously there's multiple channels there. That channel broke new high, so yeah. But it looks like a leg and a leg. We're at the lows, you know, so there's nothing you can do in here really. Yeah. Leg, a leg. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder if there's something a bit larger there. May well be. I actually kind of like that. So we've gone off the low of the day. Touch, touch. We got 2 touches there. Close enough there. Touch there. So there may be a bigger channel there. In which case, leg. Thinking about going long. I love the fact of having this because sometimes, you know, due to lack of experience, you can get fooled on the picture. Sometimes the picture isn't as clear, and sometimes you can get a bit stuck and a bit trapped and make a bad decision. But looking at this gives you the same sort of picture, but a slightly different aspect. And I think having this can save you sometimes by making, so even if you don't trade the NQ, it's just nice to know what's going on. Because if the NQ's looking very bullish and I'm thinking bearish, then at least it gives me the option to ask the question, let me have a look, am I missing something? You know what I mean? Or maybe I should just sit out of this. So I think it's good. It's having another picture of what might be happening or what's likely happening, because obviously one directly affects the other. So we got 2 legs down. So, you know, on something like this, is it a range? I don't know. We've only really been up here this time, so it might not be, but it does look like a nice channel. So you would be probably thinking about going long here, but am I thinking about going long here? Well, not at the moment. I would sort of one attempt to go lower, second I would wait for a higher low here. And if that appears, then that might, get me thinking about, okay, maybe this is going to continue on up. So it is useful to have that as a backup. Just a separate picture. Cold in this house today. Yeah, the only slight issue I have with this as well is we've got a channel down there, made one attempt to go high, second attempt to go high. This might be a penguin style trade. In which case it's going to come curling down. Okay, yeah, look. It broke above that bar there, so leg down, one attempt to go higher. It ticked above there and started dropping quickly. So just looking at this, it was enough to keep me out of a trade here. Now, was there a trade there? Not really. Some may have taken that one. It was certainly on the bullish side, but it triggered, came down, stopped straight out. So I could definitely see the benefits of having this as just a bigger picture and a different type of picture, but giving you sort of hopefully the same sort of information. So leg. So yeah, we came down, didn't we? We're at one tick above there. And then came down, stopped it out. Okay, in fact, I'm going to knock on the head now, actually. I've done enough today. I don't want to push my luck, so I'm getting a thick head. So I might just finish a bit early. What time is it? I usually do about another 40 minutes, but we're up a bit today anyway. The one account's passed, the other one's about $650, so there's a couple of trades. I've still got another 3 or 4 days on this. This is day 3, I think, so I've got plenty of time before I hit the 7 days. There's no point in rushing it. So it's not been a bad day, actually. There's definitely a few trades around. So yeah, there you go. That's it for today. I'm kind of glad that's happened again, because it's got me thinking about this big picture. Anytime, Kev. Anytime, mate. It's got me thinking about this. I'm going to put a post in later and just see if it's happening to anybody else lately, if there's any particular reason, or maybe it's just I'm just lucky. So yeah, I've got another 4 days left, so there's no point in rushing this. I got $650. I've got 4 days to do in, really. If I'm trading 4 contracts, I might do 4 contracts tomorrow and then just drop it then, and just wait for a decent setup. There's no reason why I shouldn't pass the other one. There is a no, I'm staying out anyway. So there you go. That's it for today. So I appreciate your comments, folks. I hope you got some green today. I think you probably have. Some of you mentioned you've taken some, so not a bad day actually. So we've started the new year with a couple of okay days actually. So hopefully plenty of people are back at work. You know, all the retail guys have taken the institutional guys have sewn up all their holidays and done and ready back to work. So reasonable amount of volume. And there you go. So, yeah, you too, Jay. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're back here same time. It's Thursday. Oh, Friday tomorrow. Wow, last day tomorrow. So, yeah, have a great evening. Stay safe, and we will chat tomorrow. Bye for now.